Would you like to buy a house? Put that on your application.
On the back side of it. Well, I can't, when we send out the original email.
You're not assuming smile. I like that. Yeah. Good. Yeah. This is our last meeting here. So we're really in Green Valley. But I'll be meeting in Green Valley. Yeah, I'll introduce you to the club. So I mean, that club is a lot like this one. Kind of, yeah, just very. Like that solid. Not quite as much.
However you want.
Way more younger. Still, people still think of it. And on, on the project, it was a campsite. Yeah. And that's what it is too, it's just effort.
Yeah.
Give a lot to students, give scholarships, but they have, bags of money to give to all the different students. They like to give money to the teachers can use.
They're just coming right.
Find out. At the school and then find out.
Jump in the ceiling, jump in the ceiling.
Did I? Good.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Yeah. year later, taxpayers went to the certain areas like that. Especially since Walmart is but where we are now, international, people really do need education. You know, they've seen it. So they want that. Where you get? Yeah, you're the second one around here. Already not much more time you have here. Head south. Next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. When the flyers all drive. Kristen just bought a new used car. BMW SUV. Kristen. Yeah, she was having problems with the after. She was having a lot of problems. Decided it was time. While they still start.
Right, we don't got that.
Oh, glorious. I'm not gonna give up on this.
My mom is
Now, future study would be. The Dow's down 1.3%. 7,381. They're over 1% is a lot. The Nasdaq's down 1 2/3%. And all my funds are down. Gee whiz is down $3,600. Well, that's all right.
Hello, everybody. I am your guest host again today. So we'll make the most of it, okay? All right.
And you're the speaker too?
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Larry, please stand. Thank you, sir. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And good morning, everybody. Let's review the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it true? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. What is the fifth one, sir?
Oh.
You're on right. There you go. All right.
All righty. Thank you, James. I'll let Gary take a picture. Gary, do we have any inspirational
Yeah,
comments?
we do. Just a second. I gotta walk over. It's a long walk. Motivation is what you get, what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going.
Yeah, that's actually very true. We got a habit of coming here every Friday, don't we?
We got a habit of being motivated to drink beer. You're motivated by beer? Are you, wait a minute, are you drinking beer?
He's not saying.
Later.
After days over, so they contract days.
All right, as far as any guests, I'm looking. I don't think we have any. And we also, we do not have a speaker. Where is that one?
Per se.
Well, we got Zoom. There's actually people there.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, we got a classification talk?
You're saved, you're saved.
Because otherwise we were going to talk about the corks and caves all day, and that would have been that wouldn't have been fun. Did you have?
No, you already know. We have Steve.
Okay.
Half the time, you're the other half.
Is Zoom up?
Well, Zoom is up, and we do have Angie's phone on, and we got Kendra,
and Steve on too.
and we've got Steve on, and then
It looks like Kevin just joined.
yeah, Kevin just joined too. So
Why
I'm
aren't they up there?
not sure why we're not up here. Aha. Well, it was plugged in, but it was loose. There we go. There we go. All right. So we have one birthday this week, and that's Jackie Sheehan, September 25th. So happy birthday, Jackie. And we don't have any anniversaries, but we do have some Rotary anniversaries. So we have Kendra, who joined us on the 13th or the 19th. We have Gina, who has joined us on the 20th, 2016. She's been around for a while. And then, of course, Chris Martin, who is a recent join, September 22nd. So it was a good month. It was a very productive month for us. Okay, so let's just move into officers' report. And Jack, do you have anything for us as treasurer?
Having just gotten back from my whole adventure, I would have to say no.
Okay. We do have some money.
Red or green? At least we'll have rain at the beginning of yes.
We've done really well on ticket sales this last week.
We did?
There we go.
All right.
2 tickets sold.
Well, actually, since that's related to treasury, to give us a little update.
I think we're gonna do ticket sales through the night of the event, so I still have tickets if you guys want them. But yeah, people have been turning tickets in, and I think I just turned it over close to $1,000 in tickets.
All right. All right.
So when's our last opportunity to turn them in? Since I forgot mine today.
So it would be very, very helpful if everything that has been sold up to date gets turned into me at the next meeting,
Oh, okay.
so that we can have as much of it ready to go before the event. And that way, anything sold at the event is just added in at the end, but we can have the spreadsheet ready to go, the tickets ready to go. And it will make things easier for the event.
Definitely. Well, let's do that. Definitely need to return the unused tickets too.
Yes.
We do need to keep an accounting of those. It's part of the state rules for raffles, basically.
Yes. Yeah, everything that doesn't get sold doesn't come back to me after the event.
Okay. Thank you. Gary.
Next board meeting Thursday, October 20th. Then I've got a couple of updates I'll give for Ron and for Jim. On the October 6th, there is a coffee with the chief and crew at Frontier Village Starbucks from 11 to 1 p.m. Yeah. So show up at 11 p.m. for 1 a.m. and stay till 1 a.m. And then on Saturday, October 15th, there's an open house at Fire Station 31. from 12 to 4, it's in Monroe. And there's a few other things that that I'll be sending out that Lana has sent around to our club and others, but just on safety classes that are online and disaster preparedness. And I love the last one, aging in place.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so
I
that's
think
it.
we all are.
Well, it's something, it's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as far as President-elect reports, I can report that the only thing that we've been working on, or I've been working on for the last week, has been corks, kegs, and coins. And we did make a lot of progress again. We had another big meeting, and the at least one representative from each of the main committees, and I think we're going to pull this together. It's pretty exciting. We got a lot of action going on, and you know, I haven't been here for other live corks and kegs meetings, but this is not a last minute affair. I think we actually are doing a pretty good job of spreading this out throughout the month. And
It's been the longest 6 weeks.
yeah. Well, but it's really helped having, you know, some people that have taken a kind of a leadership role in these various areas, and sometimes multiple people, and it's pretty exciting. I think we're gonna have a good show. We just have to get out there and sell tickets. We got to get bodies in there, so let's keep working on that. So my thought is, after we have our new member speak about you know, the I always hate that word, but classification talk, you know, I never really,
Well, you know what that is?
well, because it's what's on your badge. Yeah. But I think what we'll do after that is, and we'll just kind of open it up for kind of more discussion of the, you know, the corks and kegs and kind of where we're at in each of the areas. So committee reports, Jim.
Great. There is a date in May that we have to worry about, or they're gonna kick us out for the date for the school districts doing something.
In
That's
May.
a long time from now, so.
Okay. We'll have to remember to think about that.
What is that in May?
May 5th.
May 9th, 5th,
I think it's the 5th.
Oh, that we can't move here, okay.
May 9th. May 9th is the date, so
Okay.
they're doing something close. Exams, AP exams.
Oh, yeah,
I
probably.
don't
the
want
whole
to
room.
take.
Brian?
Nothing new with community services right now, but as the keeper of all of our baskets, yesterday Kristen Wells from Troop 88 came in. She brought 3 baskets, and each basket also had a mulch project that the girls were going to do. So one is like 10 bags of mulch and then delivering it and spreading it. Another one's like 5, and another one's 3. So that's really cool that they're even contributing.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they need a weed.
You need to what?
Weed. Maybe they turn them to weed.
I don't think that's
No.
part of it. I think it says. You don't follow it. I could be wrong, but.
You know what I think we need to have? I mean, that actually brings up a good point. We need to have somebody else volunteer our work party for weeding, pre-mulch weeding.
She asked if they can be involved in some of our stuff. To the girls out there, so I suggested what we do to have them out to help too, so that'll be good.
Cool. Jim, anything new on foundation?
Oh,
Well, seems to run itself pretty well.
Very slow.
Linda?
We did have an IPA meeting last night, and I zoomed in, and basically the only thing new is that Monroe did join, so now there's 12 clubs involved.
Cool.
And so cumulatively more help, you know, is gonna be given. The November trip is set for everybody that's going. And there's about 6 people going in November, so. Pardon me?
This year.
Yeah,
They didn't give much notice.
they didn't give much notice, and I did ask him, you know, to let me know when the next trip is sooner so that I can put the word out. because I want to go. And anyway, in November, the big news, I guess, is that keep your ears open, because in November, I'll be reporting how many new students there are that need to be adopted or adopt a dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anybody that's interested in Adopt a Dream that's new, it's a 3-year commitment for adopting students in Honduras, where we, adopt the villages, and it's uniforms and books and computers and stuff that they need.
Right.
It's really nice.
Is it part of the teacher salary too?
I think so. I think it's changed to $200 for 3 years. A year, yeah, for 3 years.
Is that, that's a middle school?
They changed
Oh,
it
they're
to
all
both.
200?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. That's cool.
yeah, it really does go a long way. Yeah, it's amazing. How far-
Yeah, it's a really cool social program. You know, we all recognize what's going on at the borders, or the prime one border in particular, and it's just one way to help people stay home, stay in their place.
Yeah,
And it's a very simple way to help solve the problem rather than just complain about the
Yeah.
problem.
yeah.
So, okay, great. Kyle, membership?
Well, I don't really have much right now, but we're still trying to find anyone who would still like to join Rotary with us, because we're still wanting to keep growing. We don't want to stay the same size forever, but I'm happy that we've had actually a pretty good turnout actually in the last few months of people joining, so that's fantastic. But yeah, anyone that's interested in joining, send them our way and talk to me, or anyone in the club. But we really would like to keep encouraging growing the club, not just here, but you think about places like Grand Falls that doesn't have clubs, Snohomish, and anyone that's interested. So that's really all I have right now.
Okay.
Could we maybe have some membership application forms that are next weekend?
Yes. Yep. And actually, I do have the form ready, so I just have to send them all out.
You talking about paper copies? Do you guys?
And digital,
Yeah.
so, yeah. Yeah,
Never want to miss an opportunity.
never want to miss that.
Applications and brochures to talk about.
Yeah, we have a brochure on the
We have a
website
bunch
already.
of
that,
them.
One's
just
being
updated.
updated right now,
Yeah, I think we just updated.
trying to have it ready.
That's a great band too.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So the Q code didn't work.
Oh.
It didn't?
I thought it got fixed.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought they fixed
I-
it. so
I-
it's
yeah.
outside the-
I know it was supposed to get fixed, but I don't think so.
Where's our?
Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It works. It's going, oh.
It's lakestreammissouri.org, not com, so there's the problem.
Well, we own that domain too, so it's not a loss.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe maybe that works. But, yeah.
We also own net.
Nice.
So can we just redirect?
All right, Kristen is our Vocational and Youth Services Committee Chair, and she's not here today, and I don't see her here, but anybody know of anything going on along those lines? All good? Yeah.
Well, I heard a presentation on interactive board meetings last. They were talking about the club that actually, the Interact Club is actually the fastest growing club at the high school. They're always consistently have the highest membership of all the clubs in high school, so that was pretty good to hear. They presented it, high school was presenting at their school, they just got a recognition, basically got a certification that they just went through the high school, and it's a pretty big one to go through, especially during the pandemic and COVID, but they decided to go through it right now, especially with the new admin that came on, and they got it's through the Northwest Educational Service District 189 that we're part of, and they presented about Rotary, and then of course, Kristen's daughter was there as well as one of the board members of the student council, but yeah, it was kind of cool to hear that, and see pictures and stuff like that.
What is interact? What is that word based on? Is it interaction or?
I have no idea. That's something I've never actually understood why they call it interact, but I would call it junior rotary or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wonder about that too. Vicky and Chris with Public Relations IT. I don't think Chris is here. I don't see Vicky, but I think we're like this close to posting our Facebook ad. And there was a couple things. I know I had a couple suggestions, and I'm assuming that if, shows you what I know about posting advertisements on Facebook, but we could have a button that will go right to our registration page. Is that a possibility? Basically, like, yeah, that's one thought that I
You're talking about
had.
on Facebook?
Yeah, we're thinking about having an ad, or planning to have like almost like an advertisement, if not fully an advertisement on it. So, that would make a lot of sense. Kendra, programs. She's here. Do you have anything?
Yes, I'm here. Well, I'm excited to say that Jim Steinreich was able to get Verna rescheduled from the Tulalip Tribes. So we have her coming in November. We also have this next month, someone, and I was in contact with someone named Tiffany Jumper from the school with the transition program, but I think that someone else in her department is going to be speaking for her maybe. I can't quite remember without looking up our conversation, but on the transition program at the high school. And then we also have someone coming from Public Works next month to talk about different things happening in the city. So that's all.
That's cool. Awesome. All right. Gary, Club Communications, anything?
Well, we'll obviously be sending out some more information on Corks and Cakes this weekend, and there'll be some signups by Brian. Will probably be sending them out, and get it all going. Reminder, you might start getting daily reminders.
It's probably not a bad idea.
Oh, that's a threat.
Do we have anything new, Kyle, on Rotarians in Action?
I actually haven't been to one of those in a while.
Okay.
I think
You're still here as.
Yeah, they still put that on, yeah, that's something that was the other thing I'm doing, but no, I know they're still meeting once a month, and I know you guys just had a meeting, and they were going over the space, weren't you?
We postponed it because the last meeting was supposed to be. Okay. And then last but not least, Tracy, anything on interesting? And this is Chris's forum here that I'm reading, but application request and community funding.
Yes, there is. I wrote a note because I forgot again, and I apologize. I just have to finish it and send it back out, and then just get an approval, and we're done. I mean, we're so close. I just have been. Well, Dave told us this Dave, and I perpetuated it. So we're staying home and doing nothing this weekend, so I can cross some things off my list. I will get it done this weekend.
All right. No problem. Okay, James, our Sergeant at Arms. Let's do our thing.
Everybody's got their blue or red tickets, I should say. Right?
I don't have blue tickets.
You might be a winner.
Oh.
Would you like to pull a ticket for us this morning, Ms. Joyce? All right. All right, you're the winner if you're holding the ticket number that says 751.
Brett, look at mine.
665.
Oh, that's me.
You didn't get it.
All right. Let's see, the pot's up to $223. Here's your pencil. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everybody online. see we have a new member here.
Yeah.
New member, last name O'Brien. Introduce yourself, sir, ma'am.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Hi, Daniel. How's it going?
You know, Daniel Bryan is super smart. I'm just trying to take that name so I can be a little smarter. Good to
Yes.
see everybody. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see, who was last in today? All right. Have a good day.
Happy it's Friday. See you later.
Happy Bucks.
Sure.
Okay, well, fine, and Happy Bucks. It's Friday, my dad has been on the road for the last 3 weeks driving from Florida. And actually just gave me a call this morning to say that he'll be here tomorrow morning. He was supposed to be here on Wednesday. So he'll be here tomorrow morning. I'm super excited about that. And my sister is flying in on Monday, and she just told me that I'm gonna pick her up from the airport. She told me, yeah, I'm finding out about so much stuff. So I'm not going to be at school on Monday, but I'm going to pick her up and her girlfriend, and we're going to the Space Needle, and she's going to propose the Space Needle.
Oh.
So we're super excited. Yeah, really excited.
Why can't Dad?
Well, Dad can.
He
pick
may
her
not
up.
be here by then.
Who knows?
All right.
He's somewhere around West Lakeshore.
There you go. Awesome. That's great. Are you happy?
Good, just gotta think about it.
Yeah, hard day at work yesterday. Yeah, but on Saturday, I did complete, showed up to the starting line and the finish line of the half Ironman. So that was good.
Good. Awesome.
Hey, I've got another 5 Happy Bucks. I am just happy to be sitting next to, like, honestly, one of the most sincerely wonderful human beings I've ever met. Yeah, Amy does a lot in the community. Her does line of work, obviously, takes a toll. What she did last weekend is pretty incredible, finishing that half Ironman. So that's all.
Iron Woman.
Iron Woman, that's right.
So you're missing
Yeah.
that she was tethered to a visually impaired.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Today, Snohomish County, tomorrow, the Boston Marathon.
So I second exactly what Connor said. The thing that impressed me honestly is the swimming with basically a leash going across I would think my arm would get caught up and then I would drown. I'd be responsible for drowning the person I was trying to help. So I think it's, I think it's incredible, and I think when we look at our 4-way test, it's something that is huge, right? That's incredible. So yeah, my hat's off to you. You're awesome.
Mr. Hall, good to see you again, sir.
Well, thank you for that. I'm happy to be here. And my Tesla story for you today is that this last week, I let a friend of mine drive my car.
Oh.
Okay, and he said that when he was done, he says, that's the most expensive car he has ever driven in his whole life. And he also said that it was the easiest car for him to ever drive in his whole life. And he also said that it was the most fun car that he's ever driven. So when you get your test and you let your friends drive it, maybe you'll get the same kind of slip.
All right.
Okay, that's one happy dollar. Another one is that I visited my dermatologist yesterday.
Oh.
And he found 2 different areas on my face that need to be cut out. So he took the biopsies.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that they're pre-cancerous. So anyhow, hopefully that turns out positive. Okay, so I'll put $2 in for that.
All right. Mr. Saint?
Yes, this is my last meeting at Lake Stevens Rotary Club.
Forever?
Possibly, yeah. So we're moving to Green Valley. I'm already in the Green Valley Club. There as a sojourner, so probably in December I'll change to be a member there.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to visit anytime.
Really? Or anywhere in the world?
You won't be here on October 1st?
Nope.
You're welcome to visit,
Nope.
just bring your wallet.
I'll be pulling into Green Valley on October 1st.
What was that?
Just bring your
You're welcome
wallet.
to visit, just bring your wallet.
Yes.
Hey, James, wait a second.
Yes, Chief.
What just happened there? Did Larry just say this is his last meeting?
Larry is leaving Lake Stevens. Larry and
Larry,
Linda,
did you fill out a request form for that? I don't think it was approved.
the request form wasn't approved, yeah. All right, good deal. Todd,
Larry,
have-
thank you. Good to see.
I'm very happy. I got two happy dollars.
all right,
Two.
do share.
Yes. One is, I'm happy I have my spouse back. She was called for jury duty and had to report on Wednesday, got assigned to a trial, and it ended yesterday. So she kind of got off easy. And I will say, she was actually very impressed with our Snohomish County court system. She's heard so many negative things about people's experiences at other counties. She says they're super efficient, well prepared, everything went together like clockwork. And sometimes it's hard for her to be impressed with organizations.
Good deal.
And then got one other happy dollar. Our neighbors who can't make it to the event on the 1st have donated $2,500 to Rotary to use as we see fit for the fund a cause and anything left over to the regular Rotary fund.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know how many tickets have been sold for the event yet?
We have 60 people.
60. And that includes the people that our sponsors that have indicated they're going.
I think Kevin has some.
I'll get there.
Oh, that was the question that I just asked. And that was my answer.
Joyce,
Yeah,
good to see you again.
I'm just happy to be here.
All right, we're happy to have you. Mr. Hagan.
Yeah, pretty cool that Amy was able to coach, so that was pretty awesome. And I went through we're having our class reunion tonight, and we've been working on this for a long time. It's been another thing on the list of things to do. It'd be nice to get it over with. We'll have a good time, so.
Class of 18 what?
It's really our 51, but we didn't have our 50th last year. So,
We're old.
no. Yeah, it should be fun to have stuff.
You have to have a ticket or anyone can just show up.
Yeah, we actually raised the money from our class just to pay for everything, so everything's paid for.
You have to earn your way at his school.
And Jim's wife Dawn is in my class with me, and we've been working, she's been on the committee, so.
You gotta see the cupcakes and cookies out
Oh, yeah.
Taking over the whole.
It'll be a good time.
How big was your class?
I think there was 140 people in our class, and I think we had like 80 plus one of us.
My neighbor graduated with you.
What's that?
My neighbor graduated with you. That's a couple doors down. John, yeah.
Claiborne?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. No, he's quite big.
All right, folks online, let's start with Steve. Are you happy today, Steve?
I'm very happy. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm actually, okay, perfect. Actually bought a brand new car last night and and I'm driving right now. So this is my first official Zoom call via the car. So that's exciting. And, but I do have also a Tesla story that I heard yesterday at the dealership. I don't want Lauren to be the only one. Apparently police they tried to pull over a car that was being driven by a dog. The dog was the only occupant in the car. And so what happened was they couldn't pull it over. They followed the car back to the home. And apparently the homeowner, the dog needed to go to the vet and the homeowner didn't have time. So the homeowner just sent the dog to the vet in the Tesla. And the vet apparently met the dog at the car, took care of it, put the dog back in the car, and then the homeowner brought the car back home. So fascinating, those Teslas. Don't try that at home. So I will Venmo my happy bucks. Thanks, everybody.
Does that mean you bought a Tesla?
Yeah, did you buy a Tesla?
I did not buy a Tesla.
We're trying to grow the Rotary Club of Lake Stevens Tesla Club, right? We have two, I think, so. All right, well, that's an interesting story. Kendra.
Yes. I'm happy that, it's Friday, but also my girls are doing dance for the first time through the dance school in Everett, and they have auditions for the Nutcracker tomorrow. And there's, it's one of those things where everyone who auditions gets a part, but I'm really excited for them to do that. And then they train all through October and November, and they do performances in early December. So I'm just really excited to see them go through the process of auditioning and get that started for them.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Sounds very quiet in the background. Is that a good thing?
Well, now someone's following me, but I went into another room. But now I'm being followed.
All right. Well, that's great. We'll look forward to that. Scott, looks like you're out and about somewhere.
Yeah, I'm happy it's Friday. I'm also happy that we've sold 60 tickets. Keep on selling for Corks and Kegs.
All right. Thank you. And Kevin. He's trying to figure it out there.
Call Daniel.
Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody. I'm really happy, looking forward to Corks and Kegs. We had a huge week with the fire department this week. We've been in the process of national accreditation, and it's a very rigorous kind of audit of everything we do. And this week we had 4 auditors out looking, under the hood at everything we do. And they are recommending that we become accredited, which is a big deal. There aren't many fire departments that are. There's, I think, around 5 in Washington State, and so none in Snohomish County. So we're pretty excited. And we go before a formal board, but it's a formality we understand, in February. So great stuff. And other than that, Colin O'Brien started at University of Washington, or he starts next week. So good stuff.
So what does accreditation mean for the community?
Well, actually, it means that you have a fire district that pays attention to details, that pays attention to striving to be better and complying with laws and standards. And actually, there was a fire chief who did his PhD on why become accredited, and found that fire departments that have higher property saving rates and higher life saving rates. So that's kind of, you get a better fire department. And the process is really, we take a deep dive and look at ourselves to find out how we can improve and be better. So it does. At the end of the day, you don't get a card that says you're all done. Essentially, we got a list of things to improve and continue on, which is great. So it's really for all of us, it's a big deal. It's exciting, and it's excellent for the community in the end.
All right. Well, good. Thank you for that.
Can you ask them if Nancy is +1 for Corks and Kegs?
Is the question on the floor, Chief, is Nancy's your +1 for Corks and Kegs?
Yes.
How's she feeling?
How's she doing?
How's she doing?
Oh, thanks for asking. She's doing a lot better. She is up and around. Man, it was a rough go. She got hit really hard. And then Daniel got hit hard too. He got it. And so he had to miss his second week of work as a firefighter at South County. But it really beat her up. She is on the mend, fortunately, though. But so
right.
Glad.
Look forward to seeing you guys next week. So.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for asking.
Happy Bucks. It's Friday. Looking forward to the event. I've got some baskets and some in my car. So
All right.
Just
big thank you to everybody for turning in their auction items, and we're filling out the list on our website, and it'll be really fun, so don't want to be square, be there.
I am happy that it's Friday too. I got one more day of a week of dog watching in Nordic Smoky Point, so I had to get up at like 5 o'clock to get back home and get here today. So, just happy. Weather's great. Good fun.
Awesome. We'll hear from one of our newer members here.
My mom's in town.
Miss Angie.
Well, I'm happy it's Friday, and I'm happy that I won so that I have more than $1. That was in my wallet. I mean, it's still empty, but at least there's more in here now.
Commissioner, at $5 happy. Looking forward, as Jim said, to the reunion event tonight. I'm going to be a worker, be there, hauling tables and that kind of stuff. But I feel like I'm part of the class.
Eating cupcakes.
I ate enough of those. Other part of that 5 is I would just like to echo what Chief O'Brien said. I have the honor of being a fire commissioner for Lake Stevens Fire, Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue Unit. I have been for 10 years. And we have some amazing people from our frontline firefighters, up through Kevin, and he's got a great group of DCs and AC commissioner chiefs. Ron's one of them. I happen to be related to one of them, and Mike Messer, Chief Messer, was kind of the lead on the accreditation for the last few years, and he is just an amazing dynamo and just has led this team. But it was, as we said last night at the commissioners meeting, it really was a team effort, and it is a big deal to be accredited. There's only 300 in the entire United States. There's 5 in the state, 4 in Seattle, 1 in Yakima Valley, and us. Ron said, don't count our chickens before they're hatched, but they're hatched as far as I'm concerned. So I'm really, really proud to be a commissioner of this fire service.
That's awesome.
I'm glad today is Friday. It's a day that I'm pretty busy. I'm excited because I'm going to get hearing aids today. And I'm going to be able to hear you speak because you have such a soft voice. I'm having a hard time hearing you. But the next one I'm here, I'm going to be able to hear you. And also, I'm asking for a volunteer among all of us here to do the coffee next week, Friday, this Friday, because I have a commitment that I did 2 years ago. Because of pandemic, I couldn't do it. And I need to do it this weekend. They're looking forward for me to be there. So if any of you know how to make coffee, please help me out this coming weekend, this coming Friday. I thank you very much.
I can help, if you can show me like where it's at and everything right after the meeting.
I will do that.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
It's getting come out hot.
Actually, our Hawaiian group is playing over in the Tri-Cities. Somebody put this on my desk and our table, and I think that the sergeant of arms ought to be wearing it, and he's not. So I think that there is at least a fine or 2 coming for him.
Sergeant of Arms,
Yeah.
Goes
Well, I may not give it back to the guy who's been filling out, otherwise hiding behind the screen there.
$1 for Amy and the things that she's been doing with the young lady that she helped out. And I know she's been helping us. She's helped Amelia a couple times, and she's awesome. Spent the day, part of the day yesterday with Lori and Rochelle as she was filming all of or taking pictures of all the products, and it's time consuming. Brian sat there and opened up his office, and Chinook was around watching us and making sure that security was okay. And then for our corks and cakes next week, let's do it.
Were you guys trying out the samples of the items to be auctioned off?
You know, one of them we couldn't find, the 18-year-old Royal Crown whiskey kept getting coming.
Rasmussen.
Some happy dollars. One, I'll echo Jim and Kevin's words on accreditation. That was a great process. I can't say I'm glad it's over because it's continual look into your department every 5 years, you have to go through the same process, so, it's continuous improvement, so it's really important. Glad I got to spend last weekend golfing for a few times, a few rounds of golf, bought a golf cart while I was there, so I didn't come back. Came back broke. And, got a good husky tomorrow, so huskies are probably looking exciting and.
Hey, Ron?
Yeah.
All right, well, again, echo, Amy, it's been pretty amazing. If you're friends with her mom on Facebook, it's almost like being there, because I think she posted 4,000 pictures. So that was quite awesome. And just to kind of keep it on that person, Amy, she found out that my wife got COVID and immediately brought lunch or dinner to us on Wednesday. So she's just, it's top and bottom whole community and person. She's a great person. And lastly, I have to thank the city on behalf of the food bank. They graciously upped their donations to the food bank to just under $1 million now. So we're getting extremely close.
Whoa.
We're still going to be asking, or probably about $250,000 shy or so. So look for that. We're still going to be asking the community and others to step up. But it just shows the commitment that what the food bank has done, and the fact that we're feeding almost 10% of the population of Lake Stevens. It tells you right there that, you know, people are going through some challenging times. Inflation's not making it any better. And the city recognizes that we're more than just a food bank. We're a service to the community. Right?
Yeah.
When this facility gets built, it's going to house the BOA, which is also going to be huge for the community, because it'll be that community service piece that we kind of have. This will be making more permanent, help people, you know, budget finances, and the food bank will help people cook food, and it's just a wonderful thing. So yeah, thank you, city, for all the support.
Awesome.
Throwing in $1, I got to spend last weekend with all my kids down in Helmsman, Oregon at the Helmsman Roundup. It was great. The pools gave some extra people some extra rides, and it was fun to watch.
You weren't a rider though?
I was not a rider. Those days are over. Those days of mutton busting are over.
That's why you have youngins now.
I just want to say that your guys' kind words mean a lot. The sentiment of the community is what got us through the race. Misty, being legally blind and so disabled, has felt really isolated over the past 8 years. She's only 28 years old. So us being able to do this, and she had a lot of GI problems on the run, and we had to walk quite a bit. And I was singing to her, and we were, you know, reflecting on all the good things, and there was a lot to be thankful for, and have felt a lot of support from you guys in your words and in your actions of showing up at the last triathlon. So it's pretty impactful and really great. So I appreciate all of you guys' support.
Better, yeah. So I've had another busy week at work. We're just still trying to get all those kids routed and find seats for them on buses. And sorry, I haven't been as active before. Anyway, kudos. Jack.
I put in 5 because Larry mentioned that they charge $5 for raffle tickets in his new club.
Oh, that's expensive.
So you don't have to switch, Larry.
And they don't give you $5 if you lose.
Oh, wow.
No.
Good deal.
No.
All right.
Well,
Hopefully we have
thank you.
enough time.
All right, that should be fine. Thanks, James. All right, our classification talk.
It's only 8 pages long, so you guys.
Just speak slowly.
I really had only heard the one, and I think I was on Zoom, our new guy, Steve. So I didn't really know what to do. Thanks for the music. I appreciate that. I started in Rotary in February, I think, of this year. I don't even remember the month. So this has been a long time planning in my head. I got to do it today. Anyway, I worked for the railroad for 37 years. I hired out in 1978, the same year I graduated high school. After my father, who was a locomotive engineer, said, get on to the railroad and get yourself a job for the summer. They are hiring, so I'll circle back to that point later as to why. Funny story, the job they were hiring for was a train operator job, and I didn't know what any of the jobs were, so I called my dad at the break. It was like a group hiring session. And he said, that is a man's job. You are not going to take that job. And so I said, okay, I'm 18, and I went back. And anyway, a couple of weeks later, they hired me for a clerical job, and I talked to Dad, and he's like, yeah, of course, that's a woman's job, so I get to take the woman's job. About 20 years later, I was getting promoted to an operations supervisor. And just for grins, I called my dad then. Of course, I'm much older, much more mature, and didn't care what he said at that point. But he said he had come full circle, and I said, Dad, how about this operations job? Because he knew it was going to be out in the yard, and and he said, hell yes, get out there and show him how it's done. So I did, I guess. It's really tough to think how archaic the railroad was when I first started. It was just in 78, but it was darn near, they were so behind. For instance, I literally worked on a Lily Tomlin style phone plant, where you put the cords up and you have the headphones on and you can kind of pull it out and listen to what people are saying and stuff like that. I can run a teletype and a forklift, and I'm a weighmaster and all that, back in the day. So it was fun. I called crews and had to flush them out at their hotel or maybe at the bar or wherever they were, so at a young age, I learned to be pretty not shy. I had a lot of roles throughout my career. I was chief clerk, freight agent, customer service supervisor, grain logistics manager, and they all had their nuances specific to railroading, of course, but all of them were dealing with people, and this is what I found that I really love to do. There are some characters at the railroad, and I enjoyed that. I enjoy knowing getting to know how people think, what motivates them. And I think being exposed to so many people over the years helped me see that we are all unique, but basically we all want the same fundamental things: to be respected, to be heard, and to be treated kindly, which I hope you can hear me, Amelia. I'm trying to. All right. The railroad moved me out here from Fort Worth, which was corporate headquarters, in 2007. And frankly, they were trying to correct the gender imbalance of being corporately male dominated. And I think that because those who knew me in Fort Worth thought that because I'm kind of rough around the corners, you might be a great fit for the operations job. So we haven't gotten to my personal life yet, but I'll get there. I agreed to take the job, and it was a promotion. And I mean, I was single, and there's a couple thousand employees, 99% male. Here we go, sign me up. So I eventually became superintendent of operations, and for 10 years, I was responsible for 300 employees, managers, and union, and the safe and on-time operation of the trains on my territory, which was Seattle to New West and over to Wenatchee. The operating budget I managed with a lot of help, by the way, was my weakness, was, in the multi-millions. It was tough for me to comprehend actually what we were working with, and thank goodness corporate helped with that. This job became my every waking moment and most of my, what I should have been sleeping moments. It was hard and long and tough. I literally have hours worth of stories to tell about what I think are remarkable situations. And there's like the time I was responsible for the flawless train trip on the full length of my territory, because it's the most scenic route, right? From Seattle to Canada, it is just gorgeous. I mean, maybe the Columbia River, but I always said I got the best route. But those, so then everybody wanted to
ride that route because it was actually just beautiful. So anyway, this train had Bill Gates and Warren Buffett on it at the same time. So I got to meet them and all of their crews and, you know, their bodyguards, and mostly because they were, you know, down at the Seattle train station where they got on. It was scary and fun all at the same time now that it was over and it went fine. But can you imagine being responsible for that train derailing? And then at the time, the second richest person in the US, Dennis Washington, who owns the MRL in Montana, his wife decided she wanted to have a party on their train on my territory. And I was just like telling my boss in corporate, like, no, like we can't just, we're just not a playground, you know, over these people. So I was super nervous. Anyway, the guest list was so private that only a handful of people could see it. And we only got to see it because we had to clear everybody through customs, you know, when you go over the border, which was tough because some of the celebrities on there had, you know, maybe some DUIs and this and that. And they, you know, we had to do that kind of rough thing going back and forth. But anyway, I found out that Sarah McLachlan was the entertainment on that train. And I couldn't even tell the crew like who they were taking, you know, like we all knew it was Dennis Washington's train, but it made me nervous. And then we dealt with oil train protesters that literally chained themselves to the rail and said, you know, we're gonna sit here till you go away. Well, they went away first, but anyway, lots of stuff like that. And then, of course, there's a very serious part of the job. The importance of getting it right for the safety of employees and for the general public. I've been to all, in my 10 years, of the derailments, mudslides, washouts, and too many pedestrian fatalities, which brings me to a point that I want to make here because I don't talk about working for the railroad, and this is an opportunity to say, do not take pictures on the tracks. I will literally throat punch anyone I see. If I see pics on or near the rails, anybody doing it, I will jump out of my car and say, get off the track, you know. Every gun is loaded and every track is live. I seriously have picked up too many people off the rail that are taking a picture.
Didn't even hear it coming.
I'm not kidding. It's a weird phenomenon that you cannot hear a fast moving train, and just don't do it. It's just don't entertain it for 1 second. I actually have written a story, but I'm not going to say it because it makes me hurt. The short of it is a woman was taking a picture, manager of a band was taking a picture of a guy who was getting ready to put out a CD, and they wanted Rainier in the background and they didn't hear Amtrak coming. And all the railroaders that are involved have to see that, which brought me to, I was zoomed in on a meeting, and I didn't get that maybe you're related to the couple that came up that was doing the trauma relief for you first responders. And I can't imagine what you first responders go through. We aren't educated in that or anything. And we do have a peer responder group for engineers and conductors, the crews that are involved when they, you know, when they hit a car or hit a person. But, you know, I was impressed by what they had to say, and I wish I had been here to chat with them. We need them at the railroad. Yeah, I actually, you know, I dreamed about, you know, you just can't unsee some things. And I dreamed for probably several years after I retired about what I had unfortunately saw, and those guys work it every day. So I retired in 2015 and just kind of accidentally eased into a fabulous job working for my sister, who a lot of you guys met at the corn, at the thing, the Corn Fest, and she can peddle some water, can't she? She owns a nice marketing firm, and she can't put her own name on the spreadsheet to save her life. So I moved into like a data entry, you know, I don't have to make a decision and I can still boss her around. It's been a great relationship that I've had with her work-wise since I retired. So as far as my personal life goes, I'm from Kansas City, Kansas. I have 3 siblings and my mom's still alive. I lost my dear old dad here just 2 years ago. I have 2 children and 6 grandchildren, a great-grandchild due October 27th. Last night I got a phone call. As soon as I got in bed, she says, I'm having a little problem. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so we're getting close. We're getting that close. Remember earlier in the story when I told you that in '78, my dad strongly suggested the railroad. Well, to say I was growing up fast is an understatement. My son was already born in '77, and therefore I was married and college plans out the window, whatever else was sidelined at a minimum. My poor dad was disappointed, but he never kept trying to help me get on a successful path. So here we go down to the railroad. My son attended a semester in Patagonia when he was in college, and lo and behold, fell in love with a beautiful girl from Santiago. And he has 3 children. He's been there for 20 years, which is why my love for travel. And I've spent a lot of time in Chile since then. And they get to come here every year or every other year for a month or 2. He is a sea kayak instructor and an organic gardener, and his wife is a photographer and also teaches wilderness medicine courses to fund her photography passion. Yeah. They work for Knowles, if you're familiar with that company. They have 3 beautiful girls, and yeah, they're my life, along with my daughter and her guy who live here in Lake Stevens, and she has 3 kids too, grown. Just barely got my youngest grandson here through high school. But he's there and he's doing good. And the oldest one of those kids is Dallas, who's having the baby here in a few weeks. She just got married last year. And so I love Halloween and Christmas. Just that I've already decorated for Halloween. And I love to sing. I'm trying to learn to play the guitar. And I was actually in singing and guitar lessons with the same gal down in Snohomish before COVID started. I haven't gotten back to that, but sometime I will do that. I am a traveler also, and I've been to lots of places, but I have a list a mile long. I would say my passion is motorcycle riding. Been riding since I was about 7, and sans about 15 years when my kids were young. I've been to 40 states on the bike and did a 5-country trip in Europe, and I've planned to do another trip in May in Spain. So I'm working on my Spanish all the time. Over the years, I've volunteered a bit, not a whole lot. The kids' schools, work functions, maybe a few poker runs for Toys for Tots or the motorcycle. And I've never been involved with a group like this, but I had a dear friend, Dr. Phil Mihalik, who was a dentist, actually, Tracy, up in Cedar-Woolley. And he spoke about all the fun things he was doing in Rotary all the time. You know, he was doing this for Rotary, doing that for Rotary, and encouraged me to join. And so I was just kind of waiting to slow down a little bit, traveling, and until I did. And anyway, he passed away last year. So kind of in his name, I thought, well, maybe it's time now, you know, I'll do something good because he was such a good guy. My daughter was widowed in 2010, and those kids that are here came from Kansas to live with me. And so they went to a camp called Camp Aaron that is through Providence Hospice. I think Jim knows about that too. And, you know, it was kind of at that time that I knew that I would volunteer for that camp for sure when I retired and had time to. So I did have the opportunity to do that for a couple of years, and it's life changing. And the sad part about that is there's always more kids than we could take in that camp, you know, for the weekend. But when the kids were 5, 6, and 13, when their dad died by suicide, which is another group that or a speaker that we had that resonated with me, of course, because it's not talked about enough, and it's, you know, the most normal guy. You know, I was with him and them at Christmas, and he passed in January, so I never knew. Nobody, you know, it was quite the surprise. But back to the camp fair and trying to get to my volunteer opportunities, it was life-changing for the kids, and so I will do that, you know, as much as I can, as long as I can, in order to pay back that great gift. So the weird part, I have one serious quirk, and it can be horrifying, and it's already embarrassed me in this group. I don't think I've ever known anyone with the same issue, and I'm only telling you because it might embarrass, you know, it might happen in this group again. I hope not, but I call it introduction Tourette's. And at the railroad, I did tons of meetings, big and small. We always used to sit at a round table, and we'd go around and say who we were and what our tenure was, and, you know, what we were doing there. And for some reason, I get nervous, and I would say the next person's name or something, like my mouth would like disengage with my brain, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm John, or, you know, whatever. It's so embarrassing. I don't know where my mind goes. And the epitome of this happened when I was at the safety picnic up in Canada with the trainmen and their families. And a bit of a line formed to introduce themselves to me, and this gal about 4 deep was talking to her husband, and her husband standing with her was a local chairman. So, you know, I worked with him all the time and had developed a friendship with him. And when she gets up there, I stuck my hand out to say hello, and I was thinking she must be Wayne's wife, and I said, I am Wayne's wife. And I was like, oh, I was mortified, like, oh my God. And her teenage daughter went, oh. So needless to say, I did not live that down. It was talked about when I retired, and, you know, like, oh my God. So I've already done that to Steve and Brett. I don't know if Brett realized it, but poor Steve at the corn thing, I was going to introduce him to Cindy, my sister, and I said 2 wrong names before he finally goes, Steve. Like, and then when I saw Brett at the 4th of July, next door neighbor to my mother, or, you know, my friend, I said, Brett, I said, you're Rotary or something. Like, so the point of that is, if you ever see me struggling to introduce myself, that's what's happening. Just go ahead and say your name, or, you know, break the ice somehow, like, just help me out. Anyway, thank you for letting me join the group.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
All right. Good show. We're done.
Don't forget your shirt. Oh, you need to be a lawyer.
Bye, Summers.
So, I always show you this.